A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 80.
All big changes start with a swift kick in the ass. Join the journey of lifelong friends, John Curren and Tom Stewart, as they make conventional thought bend over and take a boot to the keister. Warning, listeners may notice a force equal to or greater than needed to get your ass moving. A swift kick in the ass, living life on your terms.
Welcome, I'm Tom Stewart, and I'm joined with my lifelong childhood friend, John Curren. And today's episode, which is 80, we're up to 80, John, that's cool. Time on your terms, and this is related to our last episode, A Minute of Your Time. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Tom. You know, it is great. We've been doing this for several years now, and I think it just keeps getting better and better. It's so much fun to bring it, to make this show. Love it. Today we want to talk about living on your terms, but in the sense of time on your terms. I think that time on your terms is really the foundation of living on your own terms. And a lot of people, I think, struggle with what living on your own terms means. You know, it has a different meaning based on who you're talking to. You know, it varies. But it all boils down to control of your time and how important time is. Now, on the last episode, we talked about how a lot of us squander time, and that, I read some statistics, and I like math. I admit to it. I like math, but the world average lifetime is 67.2 years. And that equates to about 35 million minutes over your lifetime. And it's really no wonder we squander our time. You know, with 35 million minutes, we really can't even comprehend that number. But if you dive down into it a little bit deeper, if you sleep 8 hours a night, which, sometimes maybe you sleep more or less, depends. But, if you calculate that out, that equals about almost 12 million minutes gone. And based on, the average life expectancy, that's 1/3 of your life is spent sleeping. So that's gone. That's out the window. Then you throw in work. Now, most of us work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And based on that calculation, and I didn't do the whole year. I said working 50 weeks a year. That equals about over 8 million minutes of your life gone. That's 23% of your life. So between sleep and work, over half of your life is gone. Actually, almost 60%. 56% of your life gone working and sleeping. And then people think they have all this time. It's no wonder we squander it, but I don't think a lot of people realize how little time we have.
And for some people, it might be even more, because the environment that we are in the United States is work more. So even I know at my work, if you work a typical 8-hour day, it's actually a 9-hour day, because they build in your lunch hour. And then you have to factor in your commuting time, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour or whatever it is, that all adds up. I remember I used to commute for, an hour and a half each way. So that was 15 hours right there every week of just sitting in traffic, wasting my life.
I know that pain all so well. That's one of the reasons why I moved from Atlanta to Richmond, Virginia, is just because when I lived in Atlanta, it would take me a solid hour and a half in the morning time to go 28 miles. Okay. That adds up just by itself. But on the way home, it could take 3-4 hours sometime, like on a Friday night when traffic was really bad. It's, I was so mad. I had such road rage that I would not even pull out of my driveway, and I was pissed off. And that's what really drove me to move. because
Nice,
I couldn't
nice
take it.
pun there.
I did. It just comes naturally, Tom. I didn't even try it. But if you take this a step further and apply it to your own life, you know, you can do the math and figure out how you're spending your time. And when you do that, I think you'll see that you're really not spending your day the way you want to. And that's what's contributing to, I mean, that right there is the power in your hands that we all have to live life on your own terms. Sit down, write out how many hours a day you sleep. Just do it for 24 hours. Don't try to do it over your lifetime unless you're so inclined. But, sleep, work, and then what else are you doing to fill your time? Are you watching TV? Are you reading a book? Are you playing with the kids? Are you playing with yourself? It adds up.
And if you are, you can listen to our episode on porn and make that judgment call. You know what Charles Darwin says about this, John, is a man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. And I think that goes right along with what you're saying.
Yeah, and going back to squandering your time, I have a quote too. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead and light up the town. And baby, do anything your heart desires. Remember, I'll always be around. And I know, like I told you so many times before, you're going to come back, baby. Yeah, you're going to come right on back, baby. Knocking on my door. Because time is on my side. Yes, it is. Time is on my side. That's from the Rolling Stones. Time is on my side. And I think that we always think that time is on our side, but time doesn't take sides.
I honestly thought you were reading like some kind of gangster film noir, movie. I was like, was this like some, private detective talking to his hot babe? I was like, no, wait a second. I've heard this before. It's a song.
Yeah. It's really easy to let time slip away from you if you're not thinking about it. And if you're spending time the way you want to spend it, that is time on your terms. For me, well, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you, Tom, because you have been you've not been just talking the talk and walking the walk. You've been climbing those stairs, and you are the stairmaster, aren't you? You're doing that every day. You're living. You have time on your terms, right? Every day.
Yeah, I know we talk a lot about training sometimes on this show, and what I decided is I'm going to be 50 a couple months from now, and I decided I wanted to be in the best shape of my life for when I turn 50. And so what my idea was is I've been lifting weights for a long time, and it's not cutting it. It's not doing it. I need to move. And so there's a tower by my house. It's in a nice park. It's beautiful, and it's 5 levels. And I figured out if I do 20 rounds of up and down these stairs, it equals to 100 flights a day. And I had to build up to that. I wasn't like that right away, and I didn't go every day right away. I started this probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And, at first I started here and there. I would go there, and then I would go, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And then over Christmas break, I had time off, so I went every day. And I was like, well, and I was always missing the days I was at work. And I was like, you know what, why can't I, I work long days, 12-hour days, but it's like, why can't I just end my day, go directly to the tower and, go ahead and do it. So I did that, and now I'm consistent every day. And I've seen, a lot of results out of it, and it makes me feel better. And what I do to kind of hold myself accountable is I take a picture every day when I'm up there, and oftentimes it was around, I'd finish right at sunset. So I'm on the tower. I take this beautiful shot because it's close to the beach, and, it's South Florida. So it's a really nice shot. And if I go earlier and I'm not, it's just a sky shot, I'll go down and I'll find something interesting in the park. And there's always something interesting there because it's on the water. There's crabs, there's boats, there's kayaks, there's all kinds of things. So I always try to find something interesting, and that holds me accountable because and I don't really mention it. People just probably think I work there or something because I always tag the park that I'm in. But I'm training out in the fresh air. I feel better than ever, and it's the first time I think that I've done something like that every single day. And what that builds in, John, is if I miss a day, it's no big deal. And if like last night, it was St. Patrick's Day, and I went and celebrated. Had some beer and had some chicken wings and stuff like that. But it was no big deal because I trained that day. I trained this morning, and it's just consistency.
It's amazing. I'm writing a book, and it's called A Minute of Your Time, and it will be out fairly soon. And in writing that book, I like to practice what I preach as well. And one of the goals that I have is to play guitar better than I do, because I pretty much suck at playing guitar. I'm self-taught, and what I do is, as I told myself I would play my guitar no matter what, 10 minutes a day. And like Tom said, with the stairs, you can't make it every day, but every day I'm thinking about it. And most days I am picking up that guitar and I'm playing for a minimum of 10 minutes. Yesterday I played for about 45. It varies how much time I can spend. But what I've recognized through doing that is when you carve out your time like that and it's time on your terms, it's your mind just like raises a red flag and it says, wait a minute, you haven't done what you said you were going to do. It doesn't become work, but it becomes an opportunity to make a choice about doing something that you really want to do, that's important to you. Over time, that time is going to increase. I think I started out maybe just playing 5, maybe 10 minutes, but it's grown, and I play every day now, and I am getting better. And I was telling Tom I was working on a Led Zeppelin song, Since I've Been Loving You. It's a very difficult song, and I'm just now starting to get the feel of it after about 2 weeks of practice. It takes time, but there's a multiplier effect here, in that your skill, if you apply it day in and day out, your skills will grow. And actually, whatever you're doing, you'll be able to do it better than you did the day before.
And John, those small wins equal big change, because you start building up, and you develop confidence as well. Because once you set a goal and you achieve it and you maintain it, you're like, wow, I'm actually, I'm doing something, and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel productive. And that's kind of snowballs. I know we talked about this last episode where, it's like a snowball effect, but it really is. Those little small changes add up. And, we always advocate a lot of times just making one change, simple change at a time. Don't try to take on a whole bunch of different changes. And I know I've done that over the past few years, and I've got rid of some bad habits that I had, and I've maintained that, and it gives me confidence to move on and try the next challenge.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up change, and we ourselves try to create change in our lives on a personal level, but sometimes the world changes for you. For instance, with my day job, my role has changed, so I'm much, my work life has changed. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to think about. And my day has been lengthened because of that. I find myself working a lot more, and it was really tough. I mean, when you're starting something new, that really wasn't my choice, but it was a job that needed to be done, and I'm stepping into it. And you feel a bit unshaky when you first transition into a role like that. But as you learn and as you advance, I find myself kind of smiling at the end of the day of all I accomplished. And I'm adding into that, my uh, personal goals, playing guitar more. I play guitar just about every day. I'm writing every day, um, as much as I can. I try to wake up early in the morning and write. I try to right before I go to bed. I mean, I find myself, getting into the flow of things to where time just passes by. I've been writing for an hour and a half, for 2 hours, without even thinking of it. Makes me kind of tired in the morning, but so be it. My great aunt told me once, she goes, get up, you can sleep when you're dead. And,
It's true, and this all ties into like time management. And I've always hated that word, time management. I think the management part, it reminds me of something very corporate, very business-like, and it just turns me off. But that's really what it is. I mean, it's protecting your time, so you stay true to your commitments. If you have to cancel some, things that are not as prioritized, if you have to cancel something that's not as important sometimes to reach your goal, sometimes you have to do that. You have to say no. You have to say, look, I'll be there a little bit late because I have a prior obligation. I don't need to know what it is, but it's an obligation to yourself to make a change.
yeah, it's I agree with you. I don't like that term either. Time management just kind of rubs me the wrong way. For me, I envision structure and the need for discipline. And this is time on your terms is not necessarily about structure or discipline even. It is about
Prioritization.
yes, you said it. I'm not going to attempt it. Three strikes, you're out. And it's also about commitment, commitment to yourself and what you're telling yourself are your priorities. Um, Carving out, I find even though I'm working harder than probably I ever have before, I I feel so alive because I'm writing, I am playing guitar, I'm playing time with I'm playing with my kids, spending time with my kids, and my life just feels so much fuller than it has. And I know it's because I'm living more time on my terms, and I plan on having that snowball effect take over. Um,
You have to, John. You have to take care of yourself first, and this is almost like when you're traveling and they do the on the airline. They always give you the emergency evacuation procedures and so forth, or if the cabin depressurizes, the oxygen mask are going to come down, and they always advise you put your oxygen mask on first, and then worry about putting it on your children or whoever you're with. And
yeah.
you're like, wow, that's awful. I want to put it on my child first. But the thing is that if you're doing that, then you might pass out and then you both die. So what happens is if you take care of yourself, then you're in a much better position to help everyone and those around you. And it's the same thing. If you take care of yourself first, make some personal goals that you want to change and feel better about yourself, life will fall back into place, and everyone will be happier.
Yeah, you're right. My exercise, and my exercise has really gone downhill because I had hand surgery in the last 6 weeks or so, and before that, I had a herniated disc. So for the last 3 or 4
Well, at least you won't
months,
be wasting time playing with yourself.
well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the silver lining. But it's killed my exercise program. I was doing push-ups every day. I was doing a lot more than push-ups, pull-ups, just a lot of body weight exercises, and was feeling in great shape. That got it stopped. I mean, it got halted for me, but I'm getting back into that as well. I mean, it's the small steps back uh, to incorporate that into your life. But this time on your terms, it doesn't have to be about climbing stairs or playing guitar or writing a book or anything like that. You can apply it to any aspect of your life. If I look back 10 years ago, when my wife and I were over 240 grand in debt, and we sat down and we started working out a plan to accomplish two simple goals. One was to have money in the bank, and the other was not to owe anybody any money. It took us 10 years to do that, but but who else can say that they paid off over 240 grand in debt in 10 years? And how did we do that? Well, we spent time on our terms. I took time to sit down and understand where we were financially and drew out a plan that would, slowly but surely pay off that debt. Now, life happens, and life is going to continue to happen regardless of your situation. It surely happened for us. We had another child. We had to live. We had to do more than just survive. We had to live our life, and we did that over the last 10 years. But we also accomplished this incredible goal of ours, in which I'm very, very proud. The only way I would have done that, and the only way my family and I would have been able to accomplish that, is by spending time on our terms. Sitting down and trying to say, you know what, I've got a credit card problem. I've got credit card debt. Sitting down and saying, every day I'm going to sit down and I'm going to try to figure out what to do. That is time on your terms. That is time spent strictly for your benefit. And I can't advocate it enough. It will change your life. It's making a commitment to yourself and deeming it a priority.
And the reason you guys were successful too is that you worked as a team. Jennifer just sent me a text right before we started the show, and she goes, "Thanks for being you." And took a snapshot of a book she was reading. And in the book, it was talking about relationships. And it was saying that research supports that when a husband does more housework, wives are less depressed, marital conflicts decrease, and satisfaction rises, right? So it goes through this whole... Sex. Right. That's what it ends with. It ends with, it says it might be counterintuitive, but the best way for a man to make a pass at his wife might be to do the dishes. So I made sure to respond back to Jen. I'll make sure the dishes are done before you get home. But no, I've been doing that in my relationship too with her. I've been taking the time, and we get so caught up at work sometimes that I won't even talk to her all day. And lately I've been stopping and saying, hold on, I'm just going to at least send a text and let her know how beautiful she is, or what she means to me, or what she, something that she said that meant a lot to me, or inspired me. And I make sure that she knows that. And our relationship has got better. I feel like we're, like when we're first dating again. It's really gotten that much better by taking that extra step and, making some time in my relationship.
You're absolutely right. It is like going back to when you were dating and you actually paid attention to your girlfriend. To send them a text to say, hey, what are you doing? Just thinking of you is all you really need. It is making them a priority in your life. And, Tom, I've seen you and Jen. I've known you almost all my life. And Jen, I was in your wedding. So, I remember, I've known Jen a long time as well. And you guys just look so happy together, and you're going out and doing dance lessons and spending time together. And you can just tell that your relationship is just at its best right now. And I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Again, it's paying attention. It's making a commitment. It's making certain things a priority in your life. I took a lesson from you, actually. And last Saturday night, just out of the blue, I asked my wife out on a date. And in the morning, I said, do you want to, have our oldest daughter babysit? and we'll just go grab a bite to eat. Nothing fancy. Let's just go. And when we got to dinner that night, she told me how giddy she was and how she had been thinking all day, like how I wanted to date her and how excited she was over that. Just that little tiny step. It was fantastic. It was a great evening for both of us, and I think it just did wonders for our relationship. I plan on doing that a lot more.
And there's so many more things that you can add into it. I know within the past couple of months, and this is something that you would think is weird, but I bought new underwear. I made sure, hey, I've been wearing this underwear for a long time. Maybe I need to change it up a little bit. You buy some new underwear, bought some new clothes. Made sure to put some cologne on, when we went out instead of just, spraying Right Guard on or whatever it is and running out the door.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really sound that weird because I think that we get very comfortable with each other, especially when you're married and you're legally together. You're legally committed to each other. That can take a toll, I think, on your psyche. So a lot of people just let themselves go. And what I find interesting, Tommy, is I've seen this time and time again, is where you see a couple and they're just dressed sloppily. They're maybe overweight. They just don't look happy at all. And then they get divorced. What happens? They start paying attention to themselves. They maybe lose weight. They maybe start working out and exercise. And sometimes it's just amazing to me how that unhappiness in your life manifests itself in that way. It's like they become new people again. They start taking interest in themselves and looking to find happiness. But did it have to get to that? I don't know. But I think that, it all boils down to how we spend our time and taking time, harnessing the power of time in our favor, because, time doesn't care. Time's going to keep marching on whether we like it or not. And when we're dead and gone, that, it's going to keep marching on. It doesn't stop.
And we always have things that come up. You have, parties and events and funerals and weddings and all kinds of events that you have to go to that steal your time. But, sometimes when you show up to those, there's nothing that says you have to stay for the entirety of it. Sometimes it's make an appearance, do what you have to do and go home and make time for yourself.
Yeah. We're not always going to get our way. I mean, as nice as that would be, it sounds nice, but the reality is it'd probably be very, very boring if you always got what you wanted and always had your way. That's not really realistic. It's not really. It's an unreachable goal in order to do that. But the more time that you can dictate how you spend it and make it, and spend it on things that are important to you, really the happier you're going to be through life. And again, this applies in any aspect of your life. I know Tommy and I have both talked about how we've made changes to our diets over this last 3 years and throughout our life. We changed the way we eat for one reason or another. I think that too is, again, time on your terms. It's taking time out to address a priority that's yours. My giving up dairy products because I had a sensitivity to it that I was not aware of has made all the difference in my life. And it really just starts with taking a minute of your time to make a decision. And then as you act on that decision, it actually doesn't take discipline, and it doesn't even require that much effort. When I gave up milk products and kind of took them out of my diet, my allergist said to slowly reintroduce foods that the test showed that I was sensitive to. So I did that. And when I first did that, I had a whole long list of foods they said I was sensitive to, including beer, including potatoes, including chocolate. I mean, here I am, an Irishman. I can't drink beer and I can't eat potatoes. What the hell is going on?
I had some good Guinness in your name last night.
I appreciate that. I had some good Guinness as well. I did find out that I had a false positive in regards to brewer's yeast. I can have a beer and I'm not. It doesn't bother me. Chocolate, on the other hand, bothers me. Milk products bothers me. And when you take a step back like that, and then to reintroduce the food, you discover feelings that you never had before. Because, our bodies are so incredible. They adapt to their environment. They adapt to their circumstances. It becomes normal. That also doesn't apply just to food. It applies to everything in your life. We get comfortable in our daily routines, doing the same things day in and day out. But when you take a step back and then you start to reintroduce things, your senses are refreshed, I guess is a good way of saying it. So like if I drink milk, I mean, I would feel it. I would literally feel it. I never felt it before. It never bothered me before until I withdrew it. Now I know. And
with my dad, when he drank milk, we would smell it. My dad had some ice cream, man. It was like, woo, cleared away for the bathroom. Here he comes.
Yeah, I had not had ice cream in maybe a year and a half. I think I don't know exactly how long, but it was a long time. And then I found that they have non-dairy ice cream. So I had some Chunky Monkey non-dairy ice cream, banana ice cream with walnuts, and then like a little bit of chocolate, which I can tolerate a little bit. And I'll tell you, man, it was like life is good, when you can do that. But again, it's taking the time out of your own life and making these decisions for yourself and determining priorities and making a commitment to yourself and becoming, not maybe a better person, but to live life more on your terms. Time is the foundation of that. And I know it's probably time to start wrapping up.
Absolutely.
But, I think that if you can first figure out how you're spending your time, you're going to identify areas that you can start fitting in things that you want to do, things that you see as important. And you'll be able to make the time happen. And when you start doing that, there's going to be a multiplier effect. So even if you say, I can only do it for 5 minutes, maybe a week or two later, it's going to be 10 minutes. And then a month later, it's going to be 30 minutes. It
adds up.
It adds up. But you have to start with that first minute.
That's why you need a boot to ass. Get your ass moving.
Absolutely.
All right. With that, we'd like to thank you for listening. I'm Tom. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure to go to swiftkickinass.com, put in your email, sign up for our free membership site, all kind of cool little tools there, including John's simple spending plan. You too can get $90,000 out of debt. Talk to you later.
240,
Peace.
Man.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Talk to you later. Peace, everyone.
See ya.